All right, so we've talked about how to bring in a style. What's important to note is that if we wanted to apply a style to something else, we would have to go into the tag and do a whole nother style attribute and then code the CSS. So for instance, if I go to article and I want to specify a style of a background color again, I would have to click space in the article parent tag, type style equal sign quotation marks, do background dash color, and put orange. Semicolon. So every single one, you would have to go in and specify that style every single time. In addition, not only that, but if I created another article or another header, that style would not apply. Now, I wouldn't say you should ever create another article or header, but what I want to show you is, if you recall, when we create styles that cascade, they should apply to all the tags that have that style. So when we do paragraph tags, for instance, it should cascade. Let's show this a little bit more in detail. I'm going to go into my header and we're just going to create a paragraph because I want you to see what this looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter before the closing paragraph or the closing header tag. And I'm going to open a paragraph and you'll see that Dreamweaver automatically close it for me, which is really nice. And I'm going to go ahead and put, this is a paragraph. Okay. And that's going to go ahead and create that paragraph for me. Now, you'll see that it's creating this gap between the article and the header because a paragraph automatically has a line break at the end of it. That's fine. We'll leave it that way for now. We're going to delete the paragraph in the long run anyway. But for now, I want to show this to you. We're going to take this whole paragraph right here and we're going to copy it. So I'm going to highlight the text, Control C on my keyboard, go to the end of my article text, but before my article closes, hit enter and paste a paragraph in here. The reason I'm doing that is because I want you to see what happens when I apply a style to a paragraph. Normally, we would call upon the paragraph tag, we'd type a P, we'd open our squiggly brackets, we'd apply the style, and it would put it on both paragraphs, okay? But for now, it's not going to do that because we're only specifying it in this tag. This is a really different way of coding CSS. This is called inline styling. You're putting it in the lines of the code and you're keeping it only with that line. So if I specify a style here for this paragraph, and let's say, for instance, I'm going to go ahead and stylize the font family. So I'm going to put font family, and I'm going to put papyrus because that one actually, yeah, papyrus should pop up on everybody's. You can actually click any of these. It doesn't matter what you're picking. So I'm going to do Gill Sans. We'll do Gill Sans. And you'll see that it's doing a font family. And actually, we haven't talked about this really. So just a quick introduction to this. We'll go over it again. A font family is where the computer is going to look at the first font in the list and try and display that font. But if the computer doesn't have that font on it, it's going to go to the next font in the list and then the next one and the next one and the next one until it gets all the way down to just, hey, just put in a sans serif font. Okay. And that's a font family because it's a family of fonts and the computer is going to work through them until it can find them. So I can choose this one and it's going to put them all in. Whew, it's a lot of information for me. And then I'm going to put in a semicolon at the end. You're going to see that the font will change here, but it did not change here. This is important because we want it to change all of them at the same time. But since this paragraph tag down here doesn't have a style in it, it's not going to change. That's what inline styles are. The next video that we're going to do is we're going to learn how to make an internal style sheet. So you have three types of styles. So you have inline, where you're putting it in the line of the code. You have internal, where you're putting it inside of the page, but not inline in the code. And then you have external. So far we've learned internal. So far we've learned inline style. It's in the lines of text, it's in the lines of code, and it only applies to that line of code.